Yeah?
Yeah, and all the nerds are
I
laughing
had
at
a
home.
land map that was being played.
They're giggling to themselves because they're in on the joke and they know that you can only play StarCraft on island maps in Bizarro World, parallel universe.
Think about how long games would be then if everything was island maps all the time.
Yeah. But here's the thing, that's what made it good.
Speaking of which, I feel robbed from that last one. That should have been a 45-minute game at least.
Sorry, Artosis, you can't win them all. So this matchup's going to be sick. We're going to be on the map Escalade. Mong versus soulkey starts now.
AS 시즌 9 게임 준비 완료. 에스컬레이드에서 게임을 시작합니다.
So we have soulkey in the top left and Mong in the bottom right. So soulkey for me is like the best, or you might be able to say Effort's the best CV tier, but like soulkey is just so amazing in this matchup in bigger macro games. And Mong, his kryptonite really is Zerg. He's really a mechanic type of guy. And now they're cross spawns, so you can't really go mech very well in cross spawns. It's very far away. Like, if you think you're going to beat soulkey by opening Goliath build and then going into siege tanks, I think he's going to have a thing or two to say about that. So I'm not even. Oh, okay, he's just going to cheese. That makes sense.
Oh yeah,
because Mong,
Artosis, take your Terran Insight and shove it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to have a proxy game.
This makes a lot of sense because like. Mong is weak in this matchup. This is what gets him in trouble all the time. He's really strong in the other two because his macro with tanks and Goliaths and stuff is so good.
Yeah, it's a completely different skill set, really, to be very good at TVZ compared to the other two matchups. Yeah. You're really working with very different units. One thing about ZVT on both sides is that all of their units die incredibly quickly. It's very hard to call a fight ahead of time. You have to see where the first few shots land.
So we'll see if this is the 8 racks with gas or not. He's going to be sad to find that it's cross spawns. If it was close spawns, then he has actually some potential to do some damage.
Yeah.
Here, it's basically impossible. Again, 40-second rush distances. It's really far away.
Yeah,
watch for the look on his face when he sees that he's playing cross spawns.
It's like, my gamble didn't quite work.
Well, you know, you have a high percentage chance that he'll be a closer spawn and you'll be able to put on more pressure.
I had this game I played yesterday where I was on circuit breakers and I did that cheese where you proxy 2 gates on the other side of the map.
You're so disgusting.
Yeah, well, I had just gotten cheesed out. I died to a 4-pool.
Yeah.
And I was mad. I was angry. I was hurt.
Oh, it was a PVZ?
No, hold on. The game before I lost to a 4-pool. Okay, and it was like I just barely didn't get my cannon up in time, and I was hurt.
Yeah.
And I wanted to hurt somebody else because I was in pain.
Yeah. No, totally. I understand.
You understand that feeling?
Well. Yeah.
Anybody who ladders knows that feeling. Where you're like, oh, I've been hurt. It's time to take this pain and put this pain back into the universe. It's like it's like you have to pass it on to somebody.
Forward.
It's like The Giver. But with gamer anger.
Yeah, totally.
And so, well, hold on. I'm going to park this for a second. We'll finish this rush. This should be held here.
Ooh,
soulkey's control so good.
Oh, he got 1 drone so far? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's not enough to make this really worthwhile. Wait, can he get a second one?
I don't think so.
You need 2 to 3 drone kills to make this worthwhile, and he did not get that. There's some argument in the pro scene whether you need 2 drone kills or 3 drone kills. Yeah, I don't know which side that. Maybe it's been decided by now, but I know that 1 drone kill and the Zerg's ahead.
Yeah.
Anyways, please continue your story of filth.
Yes. So I was angry, Artosis, so I went on circuit breakers and I thought, you know, mostly I've been practicing very conservative builds on that map.
Yeah.
Occasionally just 1 gate into Nexus, into... I mean, if that's not that conservative, that's a little
So you're
bit risky.
talking about PvT specifically?
PvP here.
Oh, PvP here. Okay,
yes.
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, so I'm going to make my proxy over here. I'm going to give this guy my pain, and then he wasn't there. And so I was in a PvP with 2 gateways on the other side of the map.
Yeah.
And I won.
So
I won.
You won?
I won. Yes.
I hope somewhere there was a Korean guy looking at the replay being like, he is so bad, and that's the only reason I lost.
Let me tell you something. When you win that, you know the person on the other side is thinking, I have to stop playing StarCraft now.
Yeah. As they leave the game, their system prompts them, are you sure you want to uninstall StarCraft?
Yeah.
Do you click no there?
No, you
should click yes.
You click the other button that says, I've never been more sure of something in my entire life. Okay, CC is almost done here. Again, in long across spots, ZVT, one feature of the matchup is that the Zerg needs to get that third base up. The question is, where's the best place to go? If you're both sharing a side, whether you're both at the top, both at the bottom, both at the right, both at the left, then it's easy for the Zerg. You want to expand to the farthest location, usually another main. There are some exceptions, but in this case, I'm curious, where do you think that the Zerg needs to go? Is the upper right or the bottom left, is one better?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that in particular. I think the bottom left would be better for soulkey to take his third base at. And it looks like it's going to be a +1 5 racks likely here from Mong against the 3 hatch play from soulkey, so that makes sense. But yeah, I believe soulkey will expand on the left side. I think that would be a little bit better, but I'm not really that sure. I haven't played many games here yet. It's still, most people have it vetoed.
So we have the Spire coming here.
By the way, dark blue Zerg is good looking.
Yeah, I don't like the gray color like we had with the color that Firebat Hero was in that last game. I find that hard to follow.
Yeah.
But personally, those UMSs where you can be all these weird colors, I don't like that.
No?
I like the classic colors.
The classic colors are good.
Yeah, it's fine.
I always like dark green and orange, which were only on Brood War maps. But most maps are made on regular StarCraft tile sets. Really, we only use desert regularly from the Brood War tile sets.
Yeah, well, one of the reasons you don't see snow a lot, guys, is that it's actually painful for the eyes if you're playing a lot. You have so much white on the screen. It's hard to see certain things, especially like cannons warping in or anything warping in.
Protoss pylons could blind you.
Yeah.
It's like a real rush. Like you send your zealots in and just build a pylon on the snow, and then the Terran goes blind and can't micro.
It breaks his brain.
Yeah. So, soulkey actually takes a very close by third. Okay, what do I know? You know what? That makes sense because all he has to do is secure that, and he should be fine. No.
And so Terran's going to come out here. Now in cross spawns, it's a very long distance to travel. This is 5 racks play, so Terran will be sitting on this type of production for a while. This is not about trying to get a third very quickly here with Terran.
Yeah, well, that is for sure. Third bases have gotten really, really late in this matchup, just generally speaking. He's going to want to keep insane pressure on soulkey here. Just get that +1 attack done, get your range done, and start moving around the map with a grossly strong Marine Medic force. But soulkey is really, really good against this, and this was not an optimal opener for Mong. So it's hard to imagine him actually getting across the map and doing anything. Look at the amount of units that soulkey's making right now. There's a lot more links coming across the map. There's some more mutas as well. And this is just because soulkey knows if he can crush the army one time, he will win this game.
Yeah. It might sound weird, but Artosis is totally correct with that. If you crush that army, the momentum that Terran was trying to build is completely wiped out. And I love this. Just coming back in here and countering, taking out the bunker.
Yeah, and he'll run pretty quickly from here, too. He doesn't want to actually engage right here. Like a heads-on fight, Terran will do fine on... Oh, my God. I can't believe he's out there with that. He's going to kill this. That group is gone.
Yeah.
Now, it gets soulkey, like, kind of out of his base, and he'll trade it a little bit. But there's 4 medics there, man. All right, gets 1 muta, 2 mutas. Yeah, not worth. So look at the supply differential. soulkey's now up 12 supply. Yeah, that is not a good place to be in.
And I think the next wave coming out here, soulkey might be able to gear up and actually attack this as well.
Yeah, a lot of lings coming in. He wants to try to pull the trigger here, but I don't know that he really can. This choke is not good for soulkey at all.
Okay, we have a Queen's Nest coming, which means there's going to be a hive made very soon. And with a hive, of course, you want to get the Defiler's Nest. And a lot of games, whether you're Protoss or Terran against Zerg, a lot of the game is trying to kill them before they have Defilers out. Both Protoss and Zerg can go into a game continuing on with Defilers still there and fight, but it's much harder.
Yeah.
Plague and Dark Swarm are so insanely strong. And both are so good in so many situations against both Terran and Zerg.
This soulkey is he's playing so nicely right now. You can see Mong can barely even leave his base. Normally 5 racks +1, you want to be roaming the map, and Zerg is kind of dogging your army the whole time looking for a good engagement and maybe cutting off reinforcements. Here, Mong can't not even get onto the map. But look, he's getting a little bit of an engage on those Zerglings while soulkey hits the main base. That is a great repair. I can't believe how long that lasted.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That is actually really hard to do. You can tell someone's a pro gamer if they get 4 SCVs repairing a turret instantly.
It's so hard to get workers to respond quickly to anything without them stacking up and screwing up. Okay, another group is out. Now, this is not a very large group. The mutas could continue to peck at it like this, reducing the medic energy, but also just over time, he can start to try to overwhelm this.
Yeah, notice how Mong actually turns around, starts walking back towards his base. All right, it looks like he's going to be going for mines here. Yeah, some Terrans really do like to add in mines as the game gets longer in these types of situations. It can be very strong. You get a good mine off, suddenly it kills a bunch of lings. Maybe you see lurkers coming or, you know, something like that. It can guard some of your flanks and stuff. So it definitely can be useful. It is a decent amount of money that you're spending on it, though, and it is going to make a third base even later.
Okay, I love this. Just baiting out stims like that is so strong. Because Terran basically have to be stimmed before the engagement happens.
Oh, he went speed.
Oh, weird.
That's cute. Yeah, I've seen that, like, very rarely, but occasionally you'll go, like, 3 speed vultures and run around and try to run into a base and over the one lurker on a ramp or something, and then kill a bunch of drones.
Yeah, you just get in there and suddenly get a bunch of workers.
Yeah. Doesn't look like it's going to work this time. Mong trying to move out once again. Things are looking a little bit grim for him, though.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to push in cross spawns like this.
Well, you can't ever really lose any units, and specifically against soulkey. Like, you play on the ladder or against even a lower-level Zerg Pro, and you're probably able to walk around a little bit and have a game, but soulkey is so masterful at killing the first groups of units, and then he just keeps up his macro. It's such a frightening thing to watch.
So,
like, look, he's nowhere. He's nowhere. He has a drop ship.
Yeah, well,
that's his strat.
That's for now, that is his. The only thing he's got going. We just got a shot of only soulkey's vision. He's been so thorough about guarding the map here.
He's got lurkers everywhere. He saw the dropship fly out, so Mong is having to reroute it.
All right, Mong is going to try to comb the map and get across here. When consume, the ability that allows you to eat a ling and get energy is done, that's when all hell breaks loose. Because then the Terran has to give up ground. That's one of the strange things about Dark Swarm. In PvZ, oftentimes, Dark Swarm allows Zerg to completely claim base territory. In TvZ, Dark Swarm just forces Terran to make it's impossible to win a fight if there's a lurker and Dark Swarm there. You can irradiate it, but, like, how many irradiates do you have? In this case, we have 1 vessel out.
Yeah, so he's actually going to be doing a mech switch, which explains a little bit about the way that he's playing this. And it makes sense because, again, Mong is better with mech than with bio.
And in all the history that StarCraft has, and there's been so many different strats and so many different metas, and really it truly is a game that we're still figuring out. This is one of the more recent features of TvZ. This was when we first started
up 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, and Artosis and I, we've casted a lot of StarCraft 1 out here, but it's mostly been StarCraft 2. And when we came back to casting StarCraft a little bit before Remastered came out, we were totally caught off guard by this play. I mean, you can actually go watch the old VODs, and we're like, whoa, what is this? The mech switch was just not something that people were doing back pre-StarCraft 2. And so, because bio is, first of all, very difficult to control in mass, And it looks like at this point in time with Dark Swarm out, soulkey's not going to have a hard time holding a 4th or even taking a 5th. The solution that a lot of Terrans came up with was to completely full stop switch into a different unit composition.
Yeah.
Lots of vultures, lots of mines, but also lots and lots of siege tanks.
Yes.
And what you do is you try to cut the map in half. And because Zerg, the way that they operate in this matchup, but the way they operate in general as well, is that they're always trying to be ahead in expansions. And so if Terran can successfully cut the map in half and then drag the game out, suddenly the Zerg ends up exhausting his or her half of the map first.
Yeah, and well, it's also when you think about really late game compositions and maxed armies, like maxed Defiler, Ultra, Ling, like SK Terran can't really deal with that. You're putting too much pressure on the vessels, basically, and they take too much time. So it gets very tough. But maxed out mech can absolutely deal with that. It can deal with anything if you have the right composition, the right positioning, and the right upgrades.
Right.
So, yeah, it kind of like makes it a little bit easier for the late game.
Okay, good irradiates there, but excellent split by soulkey, pulling those two out.
Yeah, and the mutas are not the most important thing right now. The vessels are very important still, though. You've got to try to keep those alive, because if you end up losing all of them, Zerg can suddenly do something like a muta switch, because you don't want to be making a bunch of Goliaths.
Right.
So mong is actually, he's done a very good job the way he's zoned this out. It seemed like he wanted to keep like pressure on or something, but really what he's doing is he's just kind of cleaning and trying to secure some more bases. You know, soulkey, obviously he's up here on 4 bases. He's looking very, very good right now. And I definitely still give him the advantage, but mong has at least made this into a situation where he has some fighting potential.
Yeah, he's been behind for most of the game, but you're absolutely right. He's playing really well, and he still has a shot for sure.
Yeah. It's just he's got to get those upgrades up. He's got to start to get a lot of siege tanks out. I love that he hasn't thrown away the bio. It's a mistake that a lot of very good Terran players make, where once mech really gets going, they just are like, let me try to kill this base, and then they lose all their Marine Medic. This Marine Medic should just be used for kind of stalling out Lings and mutas.
You say that, but watch this. Let me try to kill this base.
I hope not. I hope not.
I think he's pushing across, man.
You really, the thing is, eventually Lings are just going to flood nonstop. Like, we're a couple minutes away from that. But you'll see suddenly there will just be nonstop Lings going across the map that are setting off mines and trying to break positions. And the longer you keep your bio alive, the more you can stall that out.
So instead he hasn't attacked and he's going to roam here, which is the right idea. You know, it's hard to explain because, you know, TVZ, most of the time it looks a very specific way, but things really start to change when these vultures with speed and mines are moving around the map. Zerg's standard, you know, a lot of times Zerg kind of defaulted to map control in any matchup, but a lot of times Zerg have to be very cautious. Vultures are possibly like the most cost for the what they can do. I don't know if there's anything that's more cost efficient than that. You know, if you get a few mines down, you kill off a lot of workers, a lot of Lings. Vultures are not even that bad against Ultras, but you know, when these mines go off and connect with Ultras, the amount of damage is crazy. So the Zerg has to proceed with caution as you move around the map. And even, you know, even though Zerg can get as many Overlords as they want, there's no limit to how many Overlords you can make in this game. Unlike every other unit in the game. You can actually have as many Overlords as you want. You can make way over the supply limit. It's very difficult to ever have the entire map covered so that you can spot mines. And the
well,
Zerg,
that's part of why you send Lings out nonstop late game against mech.
Yes. The Lings become this unit that it's the most cost-efficient way that you can trade, but then look at moments like this.
Yeah.
That's a lot of damage those Ultras just took for just a few spider mines.
Yeah, it is quite true.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
now,
so a little bit wasteful by soulkey. The thing is, he has an advantage, but I think he's like, every time he does that, mong is like, hey, I'm getting just a little bit closer to being even here.
Now, one thing to remember is, just like in a lot of games, StarCraft 1 or StarCraft 2, we'll focus on how many times tanks were killed in a game, because tanks are expensive and extremely important units in attacking and defending. You can do that with Ultralisks in this game situation as well. Watch how many times Ultralisks die and don't do that much damage, and you're going to see how much quicker the Zerg is to losing control of the late game.
I think it's likely you won't make too many of them. Now look at this. A move like this, you're talking about cost efficiency, something like this can be really, really brutal to deal with. This particular time, it's kind of a little bit smaller and everything, but...
No, this is great.
It's still, yeah, it's still
Plays
very
like
good
this
for
are
soulkey.
incredibly difficult to deal with.
Oh, I love the burrow. And now he's going to lose those vessels. This does open up a possibility now for a switch into mutas.
Oh. Was that killed by the irradiate?
Yes.
Is there any viability we start going mass queens here? As a Protoss player, this is we're this far in this weird matchup. I really am not sure, but
yeah, queens are generally reserved more for timing attacks, but when the game starts getting really big like this, you can do that. I actually think this move is a little bit stronger of what we see soulkey doing, where he's starting to get mass drops going, because it's very hard for Terran to clean up with mech, right?
Right.
In a line, it's very, very good defensively, like if you're in position, but you do something like drop a main, you can just kill a bunch of buildings really quickly, right? And then they have to like send vultures and tanks back. What if there's a dark storm there? Then it's like, oh my god, this is taking forever. It buys you so much time to Zerg.
We have another push coming down here in the bottom left. I'm sorry, how many vessels does Terran have right now?
None, I believe.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem.
Oh,
okay, there's
got one there.
Oh my god. Oh!
Well, this was not a very good drop, that's for sure.
Wow, that was so bad by soulkey. Well, it wasn't like he was playing bad, but that's a really unfortunate result from that attack. Well, I mean, that was so much capital that was lost just there.
You're giving him some big leeway right there, saying it's not like he's playing bad, but that was like...
Well, for most of this game, he's been pretty good, but that...
Yeah.
That, if he loses this, we can go back and look at that moment.
That was... Well, he's done several very cost-inefficient things at this point. The thing is, he needs to keep expanding. I like drop play, but on top of all those tanks, not as much. By the way, the Marine Medic, Mong has done a better job of keeping his Marine Medics around to do good work than like any Terran that I've seen do this in a very long time. He's doing fantastically with those, and they're basically clean now. But those things really helped out. What great support units at this point.
Okay, great play there, taking out those tanks. Ooh, nice. Even gets that one very low HP one. Again, in situations like this, we got to do a mineral check here and a gas check. It seems like soulkey is still mining very easily off a lot of bases.
Yeah, and it's getting bigger too.
Yeah, Zergs don't need anywhere near as many workers as Protoss or Terran.
And you can see he's actually added air upgrades, so he's very cognizant of doing a possible big muta switch. We'll see what Mong does here. Like, this is already getting annoying. He has to make... oh, God, this base is going to be wiped. I think Mong's time in this game is coming to a close.
Yeah, I think soulkey's just doing enough damage everywhere. You know, one thing with mech units is that when you lose your entire army, you also lose all position that you had. You know, this game, I feel like Mong actually played quite well in a lot of ways, and a lot of things went wrong for him. First off, he's playing against someone that's just better than him. In his worst matchup, he got cross spawns going for 8 racks. So all these things kind of went wrong, and then he lost that extra group in the center and could never really put real pressure on soulkey. Right.
So when you look at all that, and he made this into a nice 22-minute game, you know, that was...
GG.
I think Mong played that really well. I think Mong's playing well today, for sure.
업그레이드 완료.
Yeah, it feels like soulkey wins and gets right out of the group. That is not